We just gotta be careful when we step out. Alright, it's time for us to go home as well. Before I forget, open these up. Because we're about out of water and we're about out of food. And our shotgun is in pretty dire straits. We've already repaired this one a bunch of times, so I can pull the upgrades off it, look for just a regular shotgun. I'll put the upgrades on it and then saw it off. Sawing off the shotgun increases the spread for the shots, which would be really useful when zombies are like coming at you and they're like fanning out. So it's good for dealing with like large groups when you aren't in like a bottleneck. Yeah, so we're about to run out of food. We're getting pretty low on water. So it's time to return home. I think we did pretty good. We're at 2,600 zombie kills for the day. Give or take a little bit. I would say the day, I'm talking about like the stream day, not the day in game. So yeah, I think of the block area, the only building we still need to really go and clear would probably be the warehouse and the factory itself. Maybe the gas station up there, because we were making a lot of noise with that shotgun. Oh, never mind, the shotgun's range got nerfed quite a bit so far as the sound. Gotcha, so there's probably this north end here I still need to do, as well as those buildings. That's fine. So we made good progress. We probably cleared out about half of that area. Because one of the things is we will have a bunch of zombies that had migrated in. So that we were killing a bunch of zombies migrating into us. So that made less zombies in those areas. Oh, I mean, we've had days we've killed more, like I think it was Tuesday we killed a bit like 3,500 or something like that. I mean, the game was also just handing us katanas for some reason, so you know, that does skew the numbers. Like, I think that day we ended up with... Oh, come on, stupid zombies. This is not where you walk. Yeah, that, like, in one stream we got a total of 4 katanas that day. It was just like, everyone want a katana? We got katanas. Katanas for everyone. I'd say at this point we've killed a little over a dozen zombies by vehicular manslaughter as opposed to our intended melee and shooting. I mean, we killed basically everything melee, it's just when we have a crap ton of shotguns, I was like, alright, well, I'll just shoot some zombies. That said, I do imagine when our combat skills start getting up to 8 and 9, and our fitness and strength getting up to like 8 and 9, we're going to be just absolutely obliterating zombies during the day. Like, that is one thing I expect, is just as the game goes on, we're just going to get faster and faster being able to just saw through zombies. Especially when we start getting onto the east end of the map, where it's just not a lot of physical space we need to travel. It'll be just as fast as we can fight them, because there'll be just so many zombies. Whereas out here we have so much just travel time we have to do to get everywhere. And thank you for everyone who's been tuning in, who's been lurking, who's been chatting, who's been following, subscribing, doing the bits, the donuts, host the raids, and all of that good stuff. It all helps, and I really do appreciate it. I do hope you have been enjoying the stream. That cell doesn't do a whole lot for us, does it? Okay. Yep, that was the last of the food we had handy. So yeah, it's good that we were backing out. I do hate how the zombie's just like waiting in the middle of the road. Because I want to drive fast enough that it doesn't take me forever to get around, but I also don't want to drive so fast that like right there I see the zombies like, well, I can't really see what's on the side of the road. It's too late for me to slap on the brakes to stop in time. I guess screw the front of this car. I just actually reread what you had said. You're talking about in-game day. That's my brain saying it's starting to get close to wrap-up time for stream, because like there's even a correction there, and it's like, oh right, we're talking right, yes, in-game day versus real day, because it was 3,600 zombies a real-life day, like real-life stream time, non-in-game day. Like I think. I know we've broken 1,000 zombies in an in-game day. Like, that's absolutely happened. I couldn't say by how much, though. Because I do know we very, very regularly hit, like, 800 and 900 zombies in a day in a lot of these playthroughs. Not that we've been hitting a lot of that with some of these, just because of how long it takes us to get around. Because we're, like, losing a big chunk of a day right here just traveling. Stupid zombies. We're ruining this poor car. I'm not getting kill counts for those zombies that just stand in the middle of the highway. The answer is I need to be driving slower. I just don't like losing this much time on the commute. Oh yeah, like once I get a beachhead into Riverside proper, we are going to see the kill counts skyrocket there, because even though Riverside's not a high pop area, like just the fact that it's an actual city, we're just going to just be slaughtering a lot of zombies. I got scared from when I didn't see refuel. I'm like, generator, you didn't die, did you? Because that would be all our produce gone. Alright, so what kind of shape is this thing in? Because we ran a good 2-3 zombies back there. The hood's in real bad shape, but still holding up. Do I ever jar food? No. Unfortunately, it's one of those things, because, like, just to jar something, you need vinegar, you need sugar, you need to, like, have access to, like, you need the produce itself, you need jars, you need lids. It's like, by that point, it's like, look, I'll just use a generator and a freezer. It's fine. Yeah, these veggie supplies are tearing down. Like, we're getting down to, like, we still have plenty of potatoes and radishes, but, like, everything else is just getting low. It depends on the produce. I want to say jarred food just lasts much longer, so it takes whatever you put in and just extends its life. So it's not like jarring something sets it to be a very specific amount. It varies depending on what's in the jar. Thank you for the follow, Nutal, 1987. Welcome to the stream. If I mispronounce that, please let me know and I'll try and do better in the future. Alright, we have to wait for that stuff to thaw before we can do anything with it. I feel our character has earned a wash. But yeah, I do think here in just a couple of minutes we're going to find ourselves a person to raid, also playing Project Zomboid, also doing a chill stream, because it is getting past 4 a.m. my time, and I am starting to get to that point where, like, I'll read something and my brain will completely mistranslate it and everything, which is usually an indicator I'm getting sleepy. And when you're doing a marathon run like this, doing it sleepy is how it ends early, in a very unsatisfying way. I mean, granted, we've already been surviving for 6 months, 3 days, with 21,000 zombie kills, so I would hardly say it would be ending early. But I'd rather keep the run going. So, not dying is good. So in the meantime, while we're washing our clothes, and then I will find someone for that raid, thank you so much for everyone who's been tuning in, who's been lurking, chatting, following, subscribing, doing the bits the donuts, host, raid, and all that good stuff. If you have enjoyed what you have seen and heard here tonight, don't forget to drop us a follow so that you can find us again. Tomorrow we will not be on Project Zomboid. Sundays and Mondays I do play RimWorld, But we will be back on this run on Project Zomboid on Tuesday. Thank you for the follow, Smiths. Welcome to the stream. But we are doing a Arco Nexus run in RimWorld, so that'll be 5 p.m. EST that we begin that stream. I do stream pretty much every single day of the week, 5 p.m. EST. But I do hope to see you all there. And also, before I forget, make sure you're eating, drinking, stretching, getting enough sleep, and taking care of yourselves. And this is taking way longer for a person to wash her clothes. I thought she was going to be long since done, so I'm kind of rambling. But as soon as she's done with that, I'm going to go back inside, have her go into the corner. I'll go to our ending stream screen with the credits and all that, and I will find someone for us to raid. There are plenty of chill Project Zomboid streamers out there. We'll see who we can find. Oh my god, just wash your clothes, lady. I know I've got you wearing 6 later, so this is kind of my fault, so I understand, but... Okay, cool. Oh, right! Vernon said, I owe 5 push-ups. Give me 1 second, I'm going to do those push-ups. Alright. So, where we left off, as I had mentioned earlier, we are working on clearing out the factory warehouse area. We've got most of the storage units cleared, I don't remember what the business was across the street. Oh, the trailer park is mostly cleared at this point. But we haven't gone to the factory or the warehouse themselves yet. So we gotta figure that out. And as a warning, people brought this up the last time, we do have patch notes for the, well, not patch notes, but an outline of what's going to be included in the next update for Project Zomboid more specifically. And so the big PSA is where you've been able to drink water without concern. When I say without concern, directly from the bodies of water, that is not going to be a thing anymore. You will need to make sure you boil your water and all that. So the PSA, drinking directly from rivers and lakes, no longer will be safe after the update. So, big PSA there. Because I know I've told people quite a bit, it's like, you can do this, they might take it away someday. They have announced they are taking it away. Yep, I did make the entire building from scratch. Alright, so I'm going to put the shotgun up for now. It needs to be better repaired. We do have a good number of shotgun shells. Okay, so let's get rid of that. So let's see. I have a couple of nightsticks, a couple of knives. I don't think I have any back weapons. Yep, we're good there. How did I carry all those logs? I mean, we carried the planks one backpack at a time. I mean, realistically, I carried them one backpack at a time to a vehicle. And then the vehicle, I drove it here, you know, little by little. I didn't do it all in one sitting or anything. Like, basically, a day like this where it's foggy and awful, a lot of times I'll use this to work on the base. Not going to in this case, I don't think. I think we're just going to take our time driving out to our destination. Alright, I think we're going to work on our cars, because this sucks. Fog is awful. Should be, yeah, I was going to say 2 junker cars here. Yep, yeah, it's those things you want to go and work on getting yourself a car you can actually get quite a bit done in. Part of that is taking the time to do some mechanic training. I haven't skilled up again, have I? No. So either if we hit skill 4 or we finish these cars, we'll stop with this. But yeah, I've got 2 junker. Excuse you. Don't do that. See if anything comes out. Okay, do you already have your generator and all that kind of stuff sorted out? I'd imagine only 2 days. You could, but more than likely you don't. Because to me, usually the most interesting part of the game is at the beginning when your food's not situated, your water's not situated, you don't have your generator, you don't have the manual. Because you have a very specific reason to find and go for things that put you in danger and all that. Whereas when you get later in the game and it's like right now, if I just didn't want to deal with the zombies, I can live pretty much indefinitely in that base. Like, there's technically a limitation that someday would run out of gas, but you'd be talking like, if my character was a real person, we would be concerned about dying of old age, time of space. Luckily, that's not a mechanic in this game. Age is not a mechanic in this game. Gotcha. Yep. Well, if you survive to winter, a single rain barrel won't usually cover you. You usually have to have multiple. Like what we have in our base is probably overkill, but like 3 or 4 rain barrels is usually enough to survive the winter. But just one usually is not enough. You'll have dry spells that you'll have to see what you can do, and you'll have some times where the winter will just be warmer and rainier, and you won't have to worry about it. But you can't count on that, unfortunately. Could you imagine, Burn and Sun, that just like low key age has been a mechanic this whole time that just has been buried somewhere in the code where no one's found it? So, like, as you get older, not that you would lose fitness and strength, but there would be penalties that you have to do more to maintain it and all that type of stuff. And that, you'd exhaust easier and that kind of thing. Just secretly, there's that, or it would take you longer to heal from stuff. Bacon Droid says, or Bacon Android says, I am a Cortman medical, and I took the backyard and made a fence around it so I can make a campfire, collect barrels. I only have like 100 hours, and I'm still somewhat new. Yeah, no, that's fair. Now you're just saying, and I'm getting bored. I'm like, well, if you're getting bored, like, first of all, figure out what you need to secure, because like that's part of the fun is like going out, taking those, saying, I need X, and then, trying to scout out and find it. Yeah, but assuming they use, like, an integer, that's what, 2 something million, or was it 2 something billion or trillion? Whatever. It's a really big number before it rolls over. Unless they did what is it, a small int? Well, I mean, I actually don't know the data types for Java, but it's probably just integer. Yep, big Android. Yep. So that'd be the thing, though, is taking the time to get where you live set up so it's like, okay, I've got a generator and I've got some freezers. Because really a big part of the first couple months is preparing for the winter. That ultimately you have kind of the choice when you reach winter of how you can survive it. You can live nomadically, you can just, you can just collect a ridiculous amount of canned goods that, you can just eat your way through the winter. For us, we did a lot of prep with the farm, and now we have all our stuff frozen. We're using the generators to keep things in order there. But it's like preparing for the winter where so many things, so far as food sources, become unavailable. Rain isn't always reliable, stuff like that. It's kind of like if you've ever built, like, city builder games or colony builder games. Where it's like you have that cycle of you prep and all that through the spring and summer, and then you have to survive the fall and winter. Oh yeah, Winter basically means foraging is nowhere near a reliable food source. Hunting is nowhere near as reliable a food source. Fishing is almost unusably bad food source. Farming is super bad food source. Like during the winter season, just so much of your quote unquote renewable food sources become effectively unavailable with nuance. But so you get stuck basically trying to stockpile food, make sure you have it refrigerated or have non-perishables. If you do use non-perishables and you don't have loot respawn on, you know you're working on a limited supply. But surviving the winter is kind of a thing, because if you don't have those things, your only choice is to live nomadically. And that is, you go from house to house, grab what food you can from that house, and, you'll eat that, and that'll probably be your day's food is what you find in the house. You have to keep moving around neighborhoods to keep yourself fed. So one thing you can do is, so for example, if you go, this prep isn't my thing, you can actually start runs where you start the what's known as a 6 months later run, where you start in the winter and you don't get the chance to prep your food and all that, so you're forced to like go around and find food. You can't just farm or fish or whatever. Like, it's a very different play experience because it's just you can't settle into a place and really get a rhythm. It's like, no, I have to keep pushing for the next house if I'm going to eat tomorrow. But it does take a while to get there. The insides of houses do get cold. They're not quite as cold as outside, but they're cold enough it can get you, it can be you sick and problematic if you're not wearing enough layers and all that. The base game, without any mods, winter isn't that difficult to deal with from the cold perspective. But there's a mod called Cryogenic Winter where the winters get to be like negative 110 degrees Fahrenheit or so, which, for context, negative 40 degrees Fahrenheit and negative 40 degrees Celsius are the same number. So we're talking way, way, way below that. And that's one of those ones where you put on a whole bunch of layers as much as you possibly can, and you keep busy. Like, the only time it seemed really dangerous from what I was seeing is if I had my character out and about and I had to, like, sit down and recover stamina. That's not a thing you can do in the cold, even layered up. You have to either keep fighting or running or jogging or something to keep the heat up. Either that or you go inside and you go stand near a fireplace that's lit or an antique stove or open fire, like some sort of heat. It's pretty cool. I liked that mod. Okay, and I had mentioned at the very beginning of the stream, there was an order that I had put in a while back that was supposed to be delivered way earlier today. I'm a little bit salty that that's not happening, that instead of arriving at the time we scheduled, it's going to be arriving midstream. I did get notification it's on its way to the house now. It'll only take me like 5-10 minutes to deal with. It's unfortunately outside my control. If it wasn't for the fact it's something that has to go in the refrigerator, then, I would wait until after stream to deal with it, but it has to go in the fridge, so I gotta deal with it. Alright, Burnin' Sun cashing in. That's your second set of push-ups already, isn't it? Hey, Lawful Falafel. You enjoy your lurk, and welcome Integer Smirk. Yeah, it's Foggy. We were immediately gonna go and start fighting, and I saw Foggy. I was like, yeah, we'll work on our mechanics. So give me 1 second, I got 10 push-ups to do, and I'll be right back. And we have a stream. We do have a stream, actually, but we have a stretch and a hydrate. Bacon Android says, streamer exercising. Yeah, I let chat bully me into exercising because I should. Chat enjoys bullying me into exercising, and it's good for me, so. We did just ramp it up. It was only 5 push-ups per redemption, but, after 1,000, it's like, alright, it's time to bump it up. Unlike with 5, with 10, I actually can tell, like, your heart rate gets a little bit up after the end of it. Especially when people are, cashing them in as fast as they can. Integer Integer Smirk says, my real-life firewood warms me 4 times. Once when I fell it, once when I chop it, and once when I stack it, and once when I burn it. Yeah, I mean, let's see, Project Zomboid is only missing the chop it phase. But all 3 of them will actually warm me up in Project Zomboid. Like, chopping, like, when it comes to doing stuff in Project Zomboid, I think chopping down the trees is the fastest way to heat yourself up other than standing next to a fire. Because, like, you chop down 2 trees and even your character's just sweaty mess. Which is fair. Chopping trees is awful. Sure, I'll get the stats up. Oh, I need to have the to-do list up. Boop. So we'll shift that over. Because I always stretch, so I'm going to do that stretch real fast. And you can enjoy the stats in the meantime. And I'll go through them, it's just, I need to stretch quick because someone cached it. Okay. As far as the mechanics, Integer Smirk asks, are you chasing mechanics level because you can or because there's something you will be able to do? I do want to actually get some mechanic skill, so as I beat up my vehicles, I can at least keep them in working order. The big reason we're doing it at this very second is because the weather is absolutely crap. So I don't want to be out and about. I don't know where you came from because they've been yelling here, but go away. Yeah, so we're just leveling at them up because it's foggy and awful and nasty, so we're like, alright, well, got nothing better we need to be doing. Let's get her done. Because going and fighting hundreds of zombies in the fog is a fast way to end a run. That gives us Mechanic 4. Oh, on the list of changes coming with the update is if I'm already driving, say, like 50 miles per hour, and I turn on my cruise control, it turns on at 50 miles an hour. I don't have to go, you know, increment all the way up from 0 to 50 just to maintain my speed. But yeah, the PSA, and I am going to repeat this a lot because I have informed people about it for a long time that it was a viable option, and it's going to no longer be viable. Where you can currently drink from fresh lakes, like lakes and rivers and all that directly, and it's totally fine. That is going away. That will no longer be safe soon. So just know, in the future, you will have to boil the water you get out of lakes and that, or put them through a rain barrel, or otherwise sanitize the water before you drink it, or it'll get you sick. So the easy peasy, just live by water and drink with your hands is going away. Which I think is good. Because it did mean if you're anywhere near a source of water, you could just ignore water as a mechanic in the game to a certain degree. It also means winter becomes more of a pain, because if like these rain barrels were to run out, which is not going to happen, but if I had rain barrels run out, I would have to go collect water out of the river and do all that. Like, I can't just skip it. Alright. And we're in no rush today. It's foggy. It's awful. So let's just go over here. We should have, I believe it's Advanced Mechanics is next? Yep. Because like I said, I do know I've got a delivery on its way. I was trying to make it not be a problem for the stream, but my 3 o'clock delivery became a 6 o'clock delivery, so couldn't do a whole lot about it. So when that shows up, I will have to step away for probably about 5 minutes, toss the stuff they bring in the fridge, that kind of nonsense, and then be back in the stream and be good. Like, the stream will still be up, I'll just put up an away message, pause the game, and quickly deal with it, because it shouldn't take me long. But yeah, when you're doing these marathon runs where you're talking like 16 times pop, all that, while Project Zomboid is always a game where you generally want to be risk averse, you have to be especially so with the really, really long runs. Just because there's so much opportunity for things to go wrong that you can't take chances. And I say that somewhat hypocritically because I do get stubborn and go, well, I want my car, and I'll keep fighting way longer than I have any business fight because I want my car, and that isn't what I should do. I should be patient, walk all the way back, knowing that walking that long is frustrating, and just deal with it. And I also apologize if, as I'm on stream, like, the person rings the doorbell or whatever, because I have no idea exactly when they're going to be here. I just know it's soon. That's another book done. And little by little, we're getting closer and closer to maxing out skills. We've already got carpentry completely maxed. And we are getting to the point, the variety of vegetables that I have to lean on is starting to get narrower and narrower. Like, I'm pretty sure we ran out of cabbage, we've run out of broccoli. I think these are the last carrots we have, or the ones I have on my person. So our characters' food options are going to start getting pretty slim soon. Like, we got good volume, just